Hello, my name is Scott Steen, and I want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in to take part in Prepared to Answer's 2020 Year in Review online event. Normally at the end of each year, we invite our friends and supporters to gather in person for our annual fall banquet. And this is where we get to celebrate what God's been doing through the ministries of Prepared to Answer. We look forward to this all year long because it gives us a chance to connect personally with our ministry partners and their invited guests. And it allows us to report on the many things that we've seen God doing throughout the year. Of course, this year we've all experienced the disappointment of plans changed due to COVID-19, and our fall banquet was no exception. But rather than just throw up our hands and surrender, we came together as a staff to figure out how we could still accomplish some of our banquet goals in spite of the imposed restrictions of social distancing. And so here we are, our first ever online fall unbanquet. So let me give you a snapshot of what you're about to experience. The whole presentation is about 30 minutes, just enough time to sit and enjoy a cup of tea or coffee while you watch. First, you'll hear a short message from our board of directors. I need to say we're so blessed as a ministry by the committed group of men and women who provide oversight for Prepared to Answer. Randy Wagler, who is our board chairman, will bring a brief word of greeting and thanks on behalf of the board. Second, we wanted to find some way to convey to you just a few of the incredible things that God has done in and through Prepared to Answer in 2020. To do this, we've prepared a creative, somewhat unusual, but hopefully entertaining recounting of what we've seen God accomplish this year in spite of the many challenges brought on by the global pandemic. Finally, I would just like to highlight some of the ongoing ministry initiatives that we're working on right now and cast a bit of the vision for what we see coming in 2021 and beyond. So, make yourself comfortable, sit back, and enjoy Prepared to Answer's 2020 Unbanquet presentation.
Hello, my name's Randy Wagler, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this banquet, this unbanquet for Prepared to Answer in 2020 on behalf of the Board of Directors of Prepared to Answer. And this is quite a unique event, but what is not unique is that we're going to celebrate how God is at work and how God has used Prepared to Answer in the past year, and how we expect and look forward to Him working in the year ahead. I want to just say thank you to each of you for attending, and you're going to hear in the time ahead some things about how God is working through our staff and how He's using Prepared to Answer. And so I want to thank you for attending. I want to thank our staff for all their work that they do, and especially Scott Steen and his leadership and the work that he's been doing. We just thank God for having him and for him listening to what God wants for Prepared to Answer. I also want to thank our board of directors, Joel and Sarah Gardner and Trina Hayter, who are on the board along with myself, and for their work in seeking to ensure that what Prepared to Answer is doing is aligned with where God is at work. And finally, I want to thank each of you as supporters of Prepared to Answer for your prayer, for your financial support, for your interest in Prepared to Answer, because really it's that support that helps, that ensures that this work continues on. And in these unique times, in this time of pandemic, I think it's even more important that Prepared to Answer is an organization that continues to show people that there are Christians, help them find the answers and have answers for the questions that they have, as well as the questions that others will have that they speak with during these uncertain times. So I think more than ever, the ministry of Prepared to Answer is vital, and so thank you for your contribution to that. And so in closing, I just hope that you enjoy the rest of the unbanquet for 2020 for Prepared to Answer, and that you will see that God is at work, and that we just pray that He'll continue to work and use Prepared to Answer, and thank you again for your part in that. Thanks, stay safe, and enjoy the banquet.
following events you are about to witness are true. And by true, we mean sort of true. They're mostly made up and never really happened. But they contain some true facts, so they're true-ish. Our story begins on January 28, 2020, at Prepared to Answer's Canadian headquarters during the first staff meeting of the new year. Well, guys, it's hard to believe we're at the end of January, only 1 month into 2020, and a lot has already happened. Thanks to our ministry partners, we ended 2019 well, and we started 2020 in a very strong position. And thanks in large part to Bea, we're just days away from launching our brand new website. A lot has happened in a short amount of time.
Not the least of which is that we have a new staff member. Welcome to your first meeting, Sean.
Director of Operations and Ministry Development is a fancy title, Sean. What exactly does it mean?
That's a great question. There's actually two parts to my job. As Director of Operations, I'm working to help Prepared to Answer grow. And as we grow, we need administrative support. And so that's what I'll be doing. The second part is ministry development. So what I'll be doing is looking for opportunities for our ministry to grow. And in fact, right now we have 5 churches that are willing to host a How Can You Know conference for our youth throughout the province.
5 churches? That's really amazing.
Wow.
Hey, what's that sound?
Who are you?
We're the future you. We've come back from the month of October to tell you something very important.
So, why are you wearing masks?
I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
Is that how we're wearing our hair in the future?
Yeah. Do you like it?
I'm totally going to do that to my hair too.
You totally should. It would look great on you.
Well, won't you sit down? Sorry, we need to keep 6 feet away from you.
Why?
Can't tell you that either.
Why am we, holding a pack of toilet paper? Oh, here, I brought this to give to you. There's 30 double rolls here. That's enough for like a whole year. Trust me, you'll need it.
So let's get this straight. You're us from the future?
Yes.
From October
Right.
of 2020.
Exactly.
That's only 9 months away. How do we manage to develop time travel between now and October?
Actually, we don't even realize we need time travel until October. And then it takes us another 30 years to invent it. But then, once we finish, we travel back in time from the year 2050 to October so that we could travel back in time from October to come and talk to you here now.
So then where are our 80-year-old selves from 2050?
Dad, can you pass the pepper? Dad!
That's not important. All that matters is that you listen to what we're about to tell you. You have to prepare yourselves for the year ahead.
Excuse me, but that's kind of what we were in the middle of doing. We were just saying that 2020 is shaping up to be the best year ever.
How can you guys doubt that? You know full well that we've already made some great plans for this year. In fact, we're expanding our youth conferences to 5 different churches. Look, we're going all over the province this year. Can you just imagine hundreds of students crowded into churches? It's going to be great. Yeah, that's not going to happen. In fact, there's going to be no traveling or live speaking happening this year.
Do you mean we're not going to be able to do any ministry to teens this year at all?
Of course you will. It'll just be on Zoom.
What's Zoom?
Could you try not to speak moistly?
Wait, what?
Look, Zoom is a video conferencing app. Everyone is going to be using it to do all kinds of things, and you're going to be using it all the time, including to do things like speak to youth.
That's crazy. We can't do ministry to teenagers through video conferencing. Yes, you can. No, it's not ideal, but in fact it works. Look, actually, here's a video from one of the events that you'll be holding in a couple months from now. So that actually worked? You know, we had our doubts too. But God showed that regardless of the circumstances, if we're faithful to trust Him to do our best, He can use even our imperfect efforts to accomplish His purpose. Here, look, I've got a video message on my phone from one of the youths and her mom who were at one of the Zoom events that actually you're going to be holding in a couple months.
Hi, my name is Carmen.
And I'm Kaylin. I'm in grade 7.
During the beginning of the COVID break, our church youth group organized a Zoom workshop hosted by the Prepare to Answer Ministries for families. We explored questions that youth have in their mind about God and the Bible, and we were privileged to be part of it.
Mr. Scott did a very thorough presentation on the topic of why did Jesus die on the cross for us. I was really intrigued by how he guided us to look into the topic.
As a parent, I sometimes feel inadequate about providing answers to my kids about God and the world. And I'm just so thankful for Prepare to Answer Ministry for encouraging me and letting me know that there is a trusted resource that I can go to when we have questions. And so after the workshop, we emailed Scott our list of faith questions.
We really appreciate Mr. Scott for taking his time to look into our questions. Each answer was approximately 1 page long. This experience helped me to not be afraid of asking questions about God or the Bible. Asking questions is not weird or dumb. It is an opportunity to grow in faith and understanding of Jesus.
We were also provided with resources to further look into our questions, and I have been looking at the Prepare to Answer website for links and articles in order to better equip myself and my kids. So thank you for serving us.
Wow, that's really encouraging to see and hear.
Boy, it really is. But I have to say, I'm still very concerned about this whole no live speaking event thing. I mean, live events have been crucial to our ministry ever since the start, especially with our partnership with Power to Change and our ministry to university students. How can we just give up on them?
But we're not going to give up on them. In fact, campus ministries aren't meeting in person either. They're doing their meetings through Zoom just like everyone else. In fact, we've already got plans this fall to do some online meetings with them.
So why aren't campus groups meeting in person? We can't tell you that.
This is ridiculous. You're telling us everything is going to change, but you won't tell us why. How come?
Ooh, I can answer that. The problem is the grandfather paradox of time travel.
But doesn't Dutra's quantum model for time travel resolve the paradox and non-determinism?
Well, theoretically, yes, but only if you're willing to relinquish general relativity and commit to a quantum multiverse.
Oh, right. Just think Back to the Future, guys.
Oh, yeah, Back to the Future.
Michael
sure.
J. Fox.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. Sure. Okay, but what about our ministry with Forest Cliff Camp? We've partnered with them for years, and they're going to be counting on us this year to come and help train their core staff for another year of gospel-centered camp ministry. Here, look. Their executive director, Tyler Shaw, just sent me this video message.
Hey, Scott, Tyler here. Thought I would send you a quick video message instead of an email because I have a handful of things to chat with you about. By the way, Happy New Year. Hope you and the family are doing well and everybody at the team is doing great. January is here, and that means that camp staffing time is upon us. So we're looking forward to a great 2020, and we're in full force hiring right now, so we need to start planning our staff training. And we would love to have you and Prepared to Answer help us out again this year like you have for the past 4 or 5 years. So I guess the first thing I'd love to request is if you could find time to come and do a half or full day training with our spring staff. And you'll remember those are the staff that we bring in May and June to Forest Cliff. And I think we would like something similar to the last couple of years. The feedback we've got from our staff has been fabulous. You know, they're mostly post-secondary students, college, university students who are coming to work with us all summer long, but they come in the spring because they're available then and can help us with retreats and stuff. But yeah, the training you did the last couple of years on gospel-centered identity, super helpful to them. From our standpoint at Forest Cliff, we love to be able to provide that kind of training to them and kind of help them go deeper in that, because the feedback from them is that they are facing more and more questions just around identity, who we are, why we act certain ways, and how the gospel changes that, how Jesus and his message of love, forgiveness, and hope impacts that in their life. So we'd love for you to do that again this year. Interesting enough, Scott, one of the pieces of feedback we got from last year that I think I forgot to share with you earlier is that they loved just sitting and talking with you over lunch. So thanks for making yourself available to do that in the past. And if you could do it again this year, that'd be amazing. If you could fit that into your schedule to just hang out with us at the camp over lunch, they would love to just sit and chat with you about other issues that they're facing. So yeah, that's about it. The second item, I guess, is if you had any other resources you could provide us. We're going to be doing a book study this year with our spring staff and our summer staff. So if you had a great book about just how to present the gospel really effectively, especially to younger people, that'd be great. Most of our campers are aged 6 to 16, but we're finding more and more the opportunity to help young people who come and work with us as a volunteer or a paid position just go deeper in their faith. So if you had a great suggestion for a book that we could do as a book study, that would be great too. Thank you, Scott. Great to connect with you and looking forward to seeing you. So just shoot me an email back and let me know if this is something I should talk to you on the team about or one of your other staff members. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
See, they really value our partnership.
Listen, I know it's hard to hear, but the fact is that change is coming for everyone. There isn't a single person, group, or ministry that's not going to be affected by what's going to happen. But don't worry. We've come back to warn you, but we also want to encourage you that in spite of everything that's going to take place, God is still going to work. In fact, He's going to do some really cool things that you never would have expected.
I am kind of curious about that. We did make a conscious decision last year to move more of our ministry efforts online. We said we wanted to expand our reach and increase our impact, which is why we put so much work into our new website. Is that going to be part of what's coming?
It totally is. In fact, it's going to become apparent very soon that our decision to move more ministry online in order to reach more people and impact more lives was clearly God's leading. He knew exactly what was coming.
That's right. Like for starters, in April, we launched the Prepared to Answer podcast.
We've been talking about doing that for ages. Do you mean we finally did it?
Well, yeah. Once live speaking events stopped, we had no choice. We needed to develop other ways to reach people. And since April, we've had almost 1,000 people listen to our broadcasts.
Wow, that's great.
And there's something else. God's been using our website to not only reach more people, but more places too. In April, we received a request from a missionary in Tanzania who wanted to translate one of our animated teaching videos into Swahili. Today, we're using it with a video projector and outdoor screen to do evangelism and discipleship in rural African villages. Look, here's a video that they sent us.
Dear Prepared to Answer, my name is Mads Jacobsen. I work in West Tanzania together with my wife, Janice Jacobsen, with the Moravian Church. We live in a small village called Kipili, and from here we travel out to many villages at Lake Tanganyika. We do boat mission because some of the villages are difficult, if not impossible, to reach from land. Earlier this year I found a video that our friends from Prepared to Answer had made, called Who is God? Which was fantastic because this is the topic for our teaching this year. I asked if we could copy the video and translate it to Swahili, and they accepted. The video from Prepared to Answer would be used in the evening before showing the Jesus movie. Our goal with the video was to make people start thinking, who do I think God is? And as an introduction for our teaching in the church the next day. Our team, my wife and I, would like to say thank you very much for providing materials for our teaching.
That's so amazing. All the work you guys did on the website, so worthwhile.
But it isn't just the website. We've been able to reach tons of people using social media too. You'll actually be managing most of our social media presence.
I will?
Totally. And God's going to use it too. Look, here's a video from a young man that we were able to help. He contacted us through our Prepared to Answer Facebook page.
At work, I've been having discussions with a coworker about God, and we've been getting into some very deep subjects, and some of the areas I didn't know all the answers, so I reached out to Prepared to Answer to try and find some of those answers I was looking for, and it was a very great place to go because it taught me ways to answer, such as asking questions, and to actually get my coworker thinking about what he believes without building a wall between us and without getting his defenses up. And it also taught me to make sure that everything is based in scripture and not my own response, so that he wouldn't be arguing with me, but arguing with scripture. And that's something that he would have to try and figure out on his own. And Prepared to Answer has just been a really great way to help me in these conversations. And it's very quick responses and gives me the tools that I need to continue these conversations. I would highly recommend anyone else in this situation to use their resources and continue on sharing.
I've got to say, you've led us to believe that 2020 won't be a very good year. But from what I've seen, some pretty amazing things are going to happen.
Listen, there's going to be challenges ahead for everyone in 2020. You won't be able to count on anything that we used to take for granted. But just remember, no matter what happens, God remains the same. Just keep in mind what Psalm 46 says. Though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Just keep trusting the Lord and press on. You will be amazed at what He's going to do.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm even more excited about the future than I was before our future selves showed up from October. Do you think you guys could stick around maybe just a little longer? I mean, it's not every day you get to talk to your future selves. Maybe we could grab some lunch and you guys could tell us about some more amazing things that are going to be happening this year.
Well, I suppose we do have the time. We've got a time machine after all. When did they say they were coming back?
Well, I did say it would be unusual. You can probably tell that we had a bit of fun making that. But we were excited to share just some of the things we've seen God do this year. Right now, I'd like to take the last few moments of our time together to talk about some of the things we're working on and a few that we're looking forward to. The first is our online platform. Over the past 2 years, we made a conscious effort to move more of our ministry focus to building an online platform so that we could reach more people and impact more lives. First, on February 3rd of this year, we launched our new website. Since then, we've seen over 15,000 people visit from all over the world. One big improvement are the analytic tools our new website provides us that allows us to better understand why, who, and how people come to our site and what they do once they get there. Through 2021, we'll be working to make better use of this data to improve the way we market our content and how to increase repeated and deeper engagement with our materials. Second, our decision to move more material online has meant producing more video content. As a result, we've seen some very encouraging progress on our Prepared to Answer YouTube channel. In fact, we've seen a 70% increase so far this year, meaning that there's been about 22,000 video views, representing another 15,000 visitors so far this year. This has really helped solidify our conviction that producing video content is absolutely crucial, especially knowing that today's generation is so video-centered in their learning. Third, our Prepared to Answer Facebook page, as well as our Facebook group for parents, continue to provide opportunities for engaging people with helpful content and thought-provoking questions. As you heard in the video earlier, it's bearing fruit as just one more avenue for people to find us and connect with our ministry staff and resources. The last piece on our online platform is the Prepared to Answer podcast that we launched in April. As mentioned in our video sketch, we've seen some very positive early response. And since podcasting is the #1 fastest growing medium for building audience engagement, we'll be investing more time in developing this resource in 2021. The second thing I want to talk about are upcoming events. No one really knows how much longer live gatherings will be restricted, but sensing the need to plan ahead, we've arranged an alternative to our annual How Can You Know Youth Apologetics Conference. Right now, we're promoting an online event for youth called 3 Big Questions that will be held over 3 nights in November. Teens and church youth workers will be invited to join these online Zoom events where we'll be tackling some of the actual faith-challenging questions that they've submitted ahead of time. We're praying that this event will begin some great faith conversations and be a helpful tool for youth pastors and workers to use for engaging with and discipling youth. The third thing I want to mention is in the area of resource development. Since starting in January as our Director of Operations and Ministry Development, Sean Walker has been exploring new avenues for expanding ministry. One of these has been in the area of small group resource development. Through the summer months, we worked hard to produce our very first small group series entitled The Gospel and Culture. It's a 9-week video series designed to help Christians engage with some of the toughest cultural challenges faced today. The goal is to help believers understand and respond to these challenges in the light of the gospel. Here are the topics that it covers: the gospel and identity, the gospel and gender, gospel ministry in a transgender age, defending a singular gospel in a pluralistic culture, and responding to emerging trends in spirituality. We currently have several church small groups piloting this material right now, and our goal is to begin marketing and distributing it for use in January of 2021. The last item I'd like to share with you is really in the form of a prayer request. At our annual banquet in October of 2018, we announced to you our belief that God was leading us to expand Prepared to Answer's reach and impact, which would require finding, resourcing, and hiring support staff. In 2019 and 2020, God led Bea Hortopanu, Julia Pettipies, and Sean Walker to join our team. Bea's work as our content strategist has been invaluable to seeing our website launched and our online platform grow. Julia has provided us with the administrative systems that we were in desperate need of, as well as a consistent presence on social media. And Sean's new role in overseeing operations and developing ministry opportunities has opened new doors to serve the church and impact lives. I need to say I'm so thankful for the privilege to work with Bea, Julia, and Sean. The mixture and balance of our gifts is so clearly the result of God's wisdom and providence. He has so wonderfully provided Prepared to Answer with a solid staff team to support our ministry and carry us into the future. And here's where the prayer request comes in. Prepared to Answer began with a vision of serving the church as a trusted partner for discipleship training in the areas of Christian apologetics and worldview formation. I am so very thankful that I get to employ the knowledge and gifts that God has given me to be a part of this vision. But we know that the scope of the work to be done goes beyond the knowledge and gifting of any one person. We know that God is raising up others to serve the church and help train believers in Jesus to stand confident and strong in their faith in this generation. So as we head into 2021, would you please join us in praying that God would lead us toward finding another servant who would share in the vision of Prepared to Answer and bring an additional set of gifts and knowledge for teaching, writing, speaking, and serving to help further our mission. This is no small thing, and we don't want to rush ahead or be hasty in this regard. We've decided not to say that this must happen in 2021 because it has to be God's person in God's time. But we do believe it's time to step out in faith and say to God that we want Him to do this thing. We want to see Prepared to Answer's ministry become more effective and more capable to impact more lives by equipping the next generation of Christians to stand strong against the challenges of culture and live confident in their faith, that all of the treasures of wisdom and knowledge of God are found in Jesus Christ. Well, I want to thank you again for joining with us. These are certainly unprecedented times, and so we're grateful that you stepped outside the box with us to hold this online Unbanquet event. If you share the burden that we have to equip the next generation to stand strong for Christ, and if God so leads, I'd like to invite you to make a tax-deductible gift, or even to become a regular supporting partner. And you can do this online by visiting our website and following the donation link at the top. I want to say a special thank you to our virtual table hosts, that is, those of you who extended invitations to family and friends. And to you who are our guests with us tonight, I want to say how appreciative we are that you took the time to sit with us and listen to how God is working through Prepared to Answer. Thank you again for joining with us, and may the Lord bless and keep you.